They advanced, slowly, solemnly. Under a Spanish sky still marked by the scars left by a devastating pandemic, the entire royal family appeared as a symbol of contemplation, unity, and collective memory. King Felipe VI, Queen Letizia, Crown Princess Leonor, and her sister, Infanta Sofia, participated in a national tribute to the victims of the coronavirus, in respectful silence and shared emotion. This moment, which is etched in the collective memory of the Spanish people, transcended royal protocol to become an act of pure humanity. The king, with rare sobriety and moving intensity, stood erect, his gaze fixed, surrounded by his wife and daughters, before the memorial erected to honor the thousands of lives lost during the health crisis. Madrid's Plaza de Oriente, usually the scene of monarchical celebrations and festivities, was transformed into a shrine to remembrance. The silence there was heavier than any speech. The soft sound of footsteps, the whisper of the wind, and the occasional stifled sob provided the soundtrack of a nation in mourning. The flags at half-mast, the wreaths of white flowers placed at the foot of the monument, and the masked faces of the participants reminded everyone of the brutal reality of the virus. This was not a mere institutional act. It was a solemn acknowledgement of suffering, of absence, of those empty chairs in so many Spanish homes. Queen Letizia, elegant in a sober black outfit, held back her emotion with remarkable dignity. She was there not as a sovereign, but as a mother, as a Spaniard, as a woman who had seen her people suffer, struggle, sometimes collapse, but always rise again. At her side, Leonor, the young heiress, also in mourning, wore a dark, unadorned gown. Her grave gaze testified to a new maturity. She, who embodies the future of the monarchy, took part in this memory of the recent past, fully embracing this symbolic continuity between pain and hope. The king's speech, brief but powerful, was the heart of the ceremony. He spoke not as a distant monarch, but as a father of the nation. He spoke of broken families, heroic caregivers, and silent sacrifices. Each word carried its weight of grief and gratitude. His voice broke briefly as he mentioned the elderly who died alone in their homes, without goodbyes, without a hand to shake. This moment, captured by all the cameras present, shocked millions of Spaniards in front of their screens. And yet, beyond the mourning, there was a message, that of living memory. For this ceremony was not just a tribute. It was a promise. The promise that the dead would not be forgotten, that the suffering would not be in vain, that the Spanish nation, united around its most profound symbols, would continue to remember. The presence of Leonor and Sofia at this ceremony was not insignificant. It represented continuity, resilience, the passing of the torch between generations. By including these young royal figures in the act of remembrance, the monarchy demonstrated that it was also responsible for this intergenerational transmission of memory. But this moment was not only national. It was also deeply personal. Families of the victims, invited in limited numbers due to health measures, were invited to light candles. Each one represented a name, a life, a story. And as these lights were lit one after the other, one by one, on the steps of the memorial, a fragile glow illuminated the Queen's face, moved. It was not a ritual gesture. It was a silent prayer, a luminous litany against oblivion. Spain, like so many other countries, has been hit hard by the pandemic. Thousands of deaths, a healthcare system under pressure, families shattered. But that day, through this royal ceremony, Spain also demonstrated its ability to transform pain into tribute, despair into dignity. The royal family played its part not by imposing distance, but by sharing the collective emotion. Several critical voices had previously accused the monarchy of being too distant, too silent during the first months of the crisis. This tribute was a direct response to these criticisms. It was not a political maneuver, but a sincere immersion in the national grief. The entire presence of the royal family, Letizia's tender gestures placing her hand on the shoulder of a weeping widow, the way Leonor extended a rose to a child who had lost his grandfather, all this spoke of a different monarchy. A humane monarchy. The live broadcast was watched by millions of people. Social media exploded with messages. Some spoke of their lost loved ones, others praised the role of the royal family. Many emphasized that it was the first time they had seen Leonor so involved, so present. The young princess's grave face became a viral image, a symbol of a future conscious of its past. In the days that followed, places of remembrance sprang up across the country, inspired by this royal ceremony. Schools held minutes of silence, hospitals installed commemorative plaques, and churches reopened their doors for memorial services. Spain remembered, carried by the momentum of this unforgettable day. The Spanish royal family's tribute will go down in history. Not because it was spectacular, but because it was sincere. Because it touched the heart. Because it recounted, in silence and in gestures, the pain of an entire country. Because it posed an essential question: how can one continue to live, to govern, to dream, when one carries within oneself the weight of such a collective loss? The answer, that day, was found in the king's misty eyes, in Letizia's discreet tears, in Leonor's outstretched hand. A response filled with compassion, memory, and a moral duty never to forget. And you, in your country, in your homes, how do you honor the memory of those we lost during this global tragedy?